Thank you, everyone, for coming. My name is Bob Orr, also known as the other Bobby Orr. I'm going to give a little talk on tips, tools, and techniques for setting goals that stick. The subtitle for the talk is See the Elephant, Eat the Elephant. And in a lot of houses right now at this time of year, the big elephant in the room is New Year's resolutions, and that the majority of them have been broken by this point already, unfortunately. And everyone here know how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. So we break it down into small chunks, easy, practical, actionable steps that you can take to make progress towards fulfilling your goals. Little history for me. This was me back in 1992 on the weekend before, this was 7 days before this, or 7 days after this, I'm sorry. I ended up driving that bike off a cliff and ended up being airlifted to a hospital where they learned that I didn't have insurance, at which point I was transferred to another hospital, which happened to be LA County USC. I had a brain contusion. I was unconscious in a coma for 7 days. Fortunately, being at LA County USC, it's a top neurological hospital in the country. They treated me and I walked out the door 2 days later. As a result of that, I have a slightly different perspective on life, you could say. And one of the things that's been important to me is being aware of how precious life is and how it can go away at any time, and how important it became for me to say, hey, I want to, as far as I know, we've got one shot at this. I want to get everything done that I can in my life, and what's an effective way to go about doing that. So fundamentally, you have to start with an honest assessment of where you are and where you want to go and what it's going to take to get there. I mean, this isn't rocket science. It's not complex stuff. It's stuff I'm sure you've all heard before from other sources in the past. The difference is you actually need to do it, and you have to commit to yourself to do it. The starting point is finding a goal, a plan, an idea, something that you want to achieve. You know, if you're having trouble discovering what that might be for you, it's a difficult thing. A lot of people don't think about what success looks like for them, or what a career goal is for them, or what a relationship goal is. So I found the easiest one for me, anyways, to narrow that down is what lights you up. You know, what makes you feel alive when you start talking about it, when you're talking to other people. And for me, part of that is helping other people. So take a look back at the stories you used to tell yourself in the past. We've all got the internal voice, the inner critic. They'll tell you things, and they will say things like, I can't do that, or no one's ever done that, or if you think you can do that, that's crazy. And you've internalized, I mean, most of us at this point in our lives have that story. We have stories like that we internally tell ourselves over and over again. And it's the stories that brought us to where we are now have served us well. But if you want to make progress and change things in your life, you have to get rid of the old stories and adopt new ones. So whatever your old stories are, identify it, get rid of it, or flip it, reverse it, and don't bring that thinking into the new year. Another thing is there's no easy fix. It takes practice, it takes mastery, it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes dedication. It doesn't have to be a big change. You don't have to make some sort of massive change. One of my mottos is daily wins, is find little things, little accomplishments, little achievements that you achieve every day that you can say that's a win. And then no matter what happens at the end of the day, you've got that. You're like, all right, at least I did something good this day. That helped me make a little progress towards where I want to go. Another one is don't dabble. You have to commit to it. If you dabble, you're like, well, I kind of do this, or I kind of do that. You end up fading out and losing your focus and letting other things come in. By committing to it, you're saying, I'm going to focus on this to the extent of, or to the elimination of other distractions. This is a top priority for me. along with that, if you're adding something new to your life, you have to get rid of something from your life, something that exists currently, in order to make room for the new growth, for the new activities, for the new time it's going to take. We're all very busy, have very compressed time schedules. Time is a finite resource. And there are things that you can do, simple things like outsourcing talents out. You know, if you have administrivia that you need to do, hire a virtual assistant. They're $5 an hour. It's easy enough to do. You hate going to the grocery store or it takes too long to do it, have it delivered. Pay the fee, have them delivered to your house. All of a sudden, you've got several hours back. You know, if you're spending a weekend doing lawn care to maintain your yard, hire people to come in and do that, and suddenly you have a weekend's worth of time back. Another one is to make a not to do list, which is the things you're going to stop doing. It's things you don't want to do. You check it regularly and actually stop doing them. One of the things people will make the list not to do and ask them when they're struggling a little bit further down the road, you know, well, what have you removed from your not to do list? And, oh, I haven't done any of those that. So you got to stick to them, do what you can. There's a reference, of course, you know, classic reference to Einstein's quote about insanity, which is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So you've got to change to make change happen. And so you look at the biggest challenge, fear, obstacle, decision that you had last year, that you put off last year, that you have to do, that you must overcome this year. You know, it could be you need to learn new software skills. You want to start public speaking. You know, you want to ask out that crush. Something that you put off all last year. It's nagged you. I'm sure you've heard it in your head over and over again. Oh, I didn't do this, or I needed to do this, or I didn't get to that. You got to identify those things and realize that you just have to go after them. You have to make that a part of your plan going forward to get the negativity out of your head, because it'll gnaw at you, it'll eat up your energy, your confidence, your mood. And the vast majority of the time, we imagine things being far worse than they actually are. We catastrophize things in our heads. We say, I've got to go do this. It's going to be awful. You know, I'll be so embarrassed or whatever, but you actually get through and you do it. You're like, it's not so bad. And one way to maintain perspective on that is realistically and pragmatically look at what's the worst that can happen. You know, say you want to ask somebody out, they say no. You feel embarrassed, maybe hurt a little bit for a short period of time, but on the other hand, better you know now than you spent 6 months pining about it and trying to get the courage up to do it later. You lost all that time. So one of the hard truths in life is the things that we often want the most in life lie exactly on the other side of our fears. The things you fear the most are oftentimes the things you should do. Of course, along the way, it is very important to keep your happiness in perspective. And the important thing about happiness is to unlock it and share it and embrace it and not wait till certain milestones are achieved to say, oh, I'll be happy when I get here, or I'll be happy when I've done this, but to maintain the happiness along the journey, along the path to that destination, that oftentimes makes it come a lot faster.